more importantly, I think the issues, this general election, just like any general election, is about our future. It's about who forms the government and who will take Singapore to the next stage. It is about electing representatives who will take care of your town, your community. It is also about electing a government that will secure the future, not just for ourselves, but for our children, as well as our grandchildren. And I think what we are being faced with is the fact that none of us are getting any younger. We have a very rapidly aging population. And I see this every day in the community that I serve. I see this in my own family. Like I mentioned, every single one of us, we are aging every day. Much as we would wish to, we're not getting any younger. And like many East Asian society, we do have a very worrying long-term trend with our fertility rates. So the question then is, how do we continue to generate the kind of economic activity that's going to support a lot of the services and amenities that Singaporeans have come to enjoy and expect, and in fact, hope to see more of? I think this is something that's very important and which we need to think through. By the end of 2009, we had already begun to reduce the number of new PRs and new citizens, as well as begun the tightening of foreign manpower very, very significantly. What is the result today? I can share with everyone here, I do my Meet the People sessions every week. Well, some types of requests have gone down, some types of requests have gone up. What type of requests have gone down? People asking for their first flat. That queue has nearly disappeared in my MPS. But the type of queues that have gone up are all immigration-related cases. I have people asking for PR for their spouses who may not be Singaporeans, asking for long-term visit pass. I have employers coming to ask us to please allow them to extend the work permit or the employment pass of their employees. And we have Singaporeans coming to ask us to extend the work permits and the employment pass of their co-workers who are not Singaporean. Why? They tell me, well, because this guy has a particular skill, our entire team depends on him to get the job. Or I have Singaporean project managers who tell me that this guy, this Tao Chu, this Tou Shou, this skilled foreman, if we send him back to wherever he came from, we're not going to get the project and I'll have nothing to manage, so please do that. Okay. These are all real cases that come by. So I wanted to say that a lot of this tightening, I think, is being felt on the ground. Actually, I want to just let everybody know that 6.9, first of all, is not a target. It has never been a target. It is a planning parameter, and actually, given everything that's happened, to even stay within 6.9 million means having to say no to many Singaporeans who are asking for foreigners to stay and to make their home in Singapore for one reason or another. It means not being able to accede to many, many requests being put forth to Singaporeans. Yeah. First of all, I want to say that the concerns of Singaporean PMEs are as important to the government as the concerns of all other Singaporeans. And the Manpower Ministry has made quite a number of moves in this regard to look at how we can further support our Singaporean PMEs, and I think these are well known. I think the most important thing is let us support and help our Singaporean PMEs in a way that doesn't further endanger their jobs. In this regard, I think some of the other panelists have already talked about the concerns of trade-offs, and I think they've done it very eloquently. There's no need for me to say more.
Sim Ann.
Listening to this debate tonight, I am very heartened. I'm very heartened because I think from what many of the speakers have talked about, I think we have very similar views and perspectives on issues. In fact, what Mr. Gerald Giam said about education, the importance of upgrading skills, the importance of creativity, I think sounds, in fact, very similar to what my minister, Mr. Heng Swee Keat, has also been speaking about in public and also telling all of us, sharing with all of us who are working on the education scene. I'm very heartened by that. What I am a little less heartened by, I think, is very little focus, unfortunately, on very major issues that are facing us. We talked, I think, way too little about the aging population and what it means for Singapore. We didn't talk very much about the global economic situation and the uncertainties. And we didn't also talk about a lot of very worrying trends around the world and not very far from home, such as terrorism. And I wish we had more time to discuss these issues, but perhaps we should leave it for another time. And I think this is something that I really would like to leave everybody with. The democratic process is absolutely important, and I believe that we can have the democratic process together with effective government. Why is competition not a good thing? Of course competition is a good thing, but who you choose for your local representative, and for that matter, who you choose to form the team to lead us into the next 50 years, that is something that every voter has to decide for himself or herself. So I think that if there's something that I should say, I think it is that perhaps sometimes we do too much and there are things that we don't say enough. And I think this is very important for me to state. Our commitment to the democratic process is 100%, and Singaporeans decide.
Thank you. Thank you, Sim Ann.